Nathan was 32. Ava 33. They had been married for nearly 7 years. Their life together had always been calm, measured, even. No chaos. No kids by mutual choice. They had both agreed early on that they didn't want to be parents. It wasn't out of selfishness, just an honest understanding of their own needs and limitations. They enjoyed their freedom, their quiet weekends, their long walks, and shared love for indie films and wine tastings. It wasn't a passionate movie script kind of love, but it was dependable, real. Or so Nathan thought. Lately, though, something had shifted in Ava. She'd started to use words like stagnant and routine. Nathan thought it might just be seasonal blues or the creeping weight of turning 33. But then she brought up something shocking. The idea of having a baby. Not for love, not for family, but to add some excitement to her life. Nathan was blindsided. Still, he didn't reject her. He took it seriously. He said they could talk about it, even though they had agreed years ago to remain child-free. But the conversations were short-lived. Within weeks, Ava dismissed the idea entirely, brushing it off as a passing thought. Nathan took a breath and let it go, believing it was over. He didn't realize it was only the beginning of the end. Then came the evening that shattered his world. Nathan was sitting on the couch, half watching a show he couldn't even remember now, when Ava walked in and told him, casually as if she were talking about dinner plans, that she was going on a date. He stared at her, thinking it was some kind of dark joke. But her expression never wavered. She was serious. With Eric, she said. Eric was a name he recognized. Colleague. Someone she'd mentioned a few times in passing, always accompanied by a shrug. Apparently, they had bonded over mutual feelings of being stuck in life. It's just dinner, she added. Nothing serious. Just something exciting. Nathan felt the blood drain from his face. Why are you calling it a date then? He asked, grasping at reason, desperate to make sense of it. Her response was as cold as it was cruel. Because I believe in transparency. It hurts less that way. She kissed him lightly on the forehead like she was heading out for groceries, not stepping over the threshold of betrayal. Then she went to their room and slipped into her scarlet dress, the one she used to save for special nights with him. Nathan sat frozen, every nerve in his body screaming. As she applied her lipstick and smiled at herself in the mirror, Nathan realized she wasn't dressing for him anymore. She belonged to someone else now, even if only in spirit. Desperate and spiraling, Nathan called his best friend, Kevin. He couldn't bring himself to admit the truth, so he masked it as a scenario someone else was dealing with. Kevin was cautious but kind. Maybe it's just harmless, he offered, trying to be supportive. But Nathan knew better. This wasn't harmless. It was betrayal wrapped in lipstick and red fabric. She returned home earlier than expected. It was just past 9:30 p.m. Ava walked in with her hair slightly tousled. Her lipstick smudged, a dreamy look in her eyes. She hugged Nathan from behind like nothing had happened. It was so exciting, Nathan, she whispered. Exactly what I needed. He felt something snap inside him. And then she dropped the second bombshell. She and Eric were planning a weekend trip together. Nathan didn't react. Couldn't. His body had gone numb, his mind detached. Ava, oblivious to the hurricane swirling inside him, continued humming as she unpacked her clutch. That night Nathan didn't sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every word. Somewhere between 2 a.m. and dawn, he came to a chilling realization. The marriage was dead. And if Ava thought she could just walk away from it without consequence, she was sorely mistaken. By Saturday afternoon, Nathan had changed every lock. Ava's key was useless now. He packed her belongings, every last item, into black trash bags and moved them to the garage. The act felt both brutal and necessary, like closing a wound that had been festering too long. That evening, as she packed for her weekend getaway, Nathan watched her silently from the hallway. She slipped into another red dress and twirled in front of the mirror, humming that same tune, grinning like a teenager. He recorded her, Her expressions, her words, her careless boasting about how alive she felt. He knew he would need it later. Sunday night. She returned to find herself locked out. Panic replaced her confidence as she banged on the door, calling his name. Nathan sat inside, calmly sipping a glass of whiskey, watching her through the security feed. Eventually he opened the door. "What the hell, Nathan?" she cried, eyes red, voice cracking. "You changed the locks." He said nothing, just stared. "I was wrong," she stammered. "Eric pressured me. It didn't mean anything. I'm sorry, Nathan. Please, let's talk." But Nathan had heard enough. He handed her the flash drive containing the video. "Watch this," he said coldly. "Then tell me again it didn't mean anything." She went pale. "You destroyed us," he continued, voice devoid of emotion. "Now you'll live with it." He pointed to the trash bags. "Your things are in the garage. Take them and go." When she tried to plead, he slammed the door in her face. She sat in the driveway for hours. Nathan didn't flinch. The days that followed were quiet, lonely but clean. He filed for divorce, sending the paperwork to her parents' house. Word got back to him that Ava was crashing at her childhood friend Julia's place. Nathan doubted Julia even knew the real story. But Ava wasn't done. She began bombarding him with messages, apologies, begging, excuses. Even her mother called him once, voice trembling, asking if he might give Ava another chance. He said nothing. The sound of Ava's name became a trigger. Her laughter from that night. The look in her eyes when she told him about Eric. The kiss on the forehead. It all played on repeat, etching scars into his memory. Then came the office visit. Nathan was reviewing reports when his secretary burst in, whispering that asterisk. "A woman is outside and she's causing a scene." Asterisk. It was Ava. She looked shattered. Her mascara streaked, hair disheveled, divorce papers clutched in her hand. "I can't sign them," she cried. "Please, Nathan. We can fix this. I love you." He led her into a conference room, locking the door behind them. "I warned you," he said, voice like ice. "You thought this was a game. Now you've lost." Tears streamed down her face. "It was a mistake. I thought I wanted more, but I didn't. It was a nightmare. I was stupid. Need you. You're all I ever wanted." But Nathan didn't budge. "You played with fire," he said. "And now you're burned." Ava finally went silent. Nathan heard she started therapy. Maybe it was real, maybe it wasn't. He didn't care. He needed closure. So he compiled everything. Text records, date receipts, her voice messages, and mailed it all to her parents. Not to be cruel, but to make her confront the wreckage she had caused. The next morning she left a voicemail. Her voice was low, remorseful. "I got your package. Understand now, Nathan. I understand everything. I destroyed the one thing that mattered to me. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I finally see it." And for the first time, Nathan felt something shift. Not forgiveness, but closure. The divorce was finalized quietly. No drama. No last-minute declarations. Ava signed and disappeared back into the orbit of her childhood home. Nathan stayed. The house was his now, and her name was erased from every corner of it. At first, the silence was painful, but eventually it became peace. He went back to the gym, picked up painting again, started hiking with Kevin. Bit by bit, the old pieces of himself returned, refined, stronger, new. Then came Emily. They met on a hike. She had a gentle way about her and a smile that disarmed him. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just there, present, kind. They talked, then shared coffee, and more. It wasn't fireworks, but it was something better. Calm, mutual, respectful. Real. Nathan had been broken, but he'd rebuilt himself. Ava's chapter had closed. Her story now was one of regret. His, a story of resilience. And while the future with Emily remained unwritten, one thing was certain. He was no longer the man he used to be. And he was never going back.